Hi there. I thought this evening I'd go back to the football markets just for a change and revisit a demonstration strategy that I showed you about a couple of weeks ago. And that is specifically to look at backing either the over 1.5, 2.5 or 3.5 with drip-fed back bets, depending on how many goals have been scored in the first 10 minutes. And then when a goal is scored after those back bets start to be entered into the market, that process stops and lay bets are then put in to start reducing any liabilities that have incurred. So I'm going to do that again. I've made some changes to that strategy, which I'll describe to you shortly. But first of all, my usual caveat, not a football trader, blah, blah, blah. So take all this with a pinch of salt. There's no football analysis here other than what I'm doing is going to let the markets guide me as to which game to go with. And I'm narrowing in on this match here with Haifa and Spartans. So I'm looking for a home favourite, which is a clear home favourite here. And if we open up the page for that match, I'm looking for the over 2.5s to be odds on to give us an indication that there's going to be goals. So that's my pick for this demonstration. Now, if I move on to Fairbot, the strategy, because it was a bit of a mouthful saying over 1.5, 2.5 and 3.5, I've renamed it and I've called it Jacob's Ladder. And just to recap, what it does is it looks at the event over 1.5, 2.5 and 3.5 goal markets, and essentially monitors those. And whenever there's a goal scored within the first 10 minutes, Fairbot would then decide which of those overs markets to get involved with. Now, I've actually made a slight change to the strategy as you saw in the previous video, which I'll link to at the end of this one. If you recall that one, I'd actually made a couple of errors. My green up for a 50 red, I'd inadvertently put 50 instead of minus 50. So I've made that correction. And there was one other where I think it was this one said less than or equal to 0 when it should have been less than. So I've made those changes. And one other change that I have made, or a couple of changes I have made, is I've delayed the entry point from 10 minutes to 15. That's for two reasons. First of all, to see or give a greater chance of a goal being scored in those early stages. But also, hopefully, the odds will be that little bit higher than they would have been at the 10-minute stage. That's the first thing I've changed. The other thing I've changed is the drip feeding of the back bets. That now goes in every 3 minutes instead of every 2 minutes. Again, the idea with that is with those slightly longer intervals, the odds as those drip-fed bets enter the market will be that little bit higher. Similarly, with the lay part, to remove the liability, it was sitting at a wait time of 15 seconds. I've increased that to 20 seconds. And again, the reason for that is as those lay bets go in to reduce the liabilities, ideally what we're looking for is another goal to happen. And we want that to occur ideally when we're still laying things off, because it means we get better odds as part of that liability reduction process. So that's essentially it. Those are the changes. The match has got another 10 minutes or so to go, so I'm going to come back once I'm 15 minutes into the game. Okay, 18 minutes into the game, no goals, and so you can see that the feedback bets is actually going into the 1.5 market. As you can see in the watch list here, we've had 2 entered so far. Just switch to the My Bets tab. Oh, that's the wrong one. I need to go to that market. So there's our 2 back bets in. So it's the over 1.5 goals that we're looking at for this particular match. And because of the way the strategy works, because there's been no goals, the bets will go in the over 1.5 market, the other two markets over 2.5 and over 3.5. There will be nothing put into those markets at all. Also notice that the strategy is actually assigned to the over under 2.5 goals market because of the linked markets facility within Fairbot. This one strategy will send bets to the other ones. In this case, it's going to send them directly to the over under 1.5 goals market. Nothing else will happen in the over 3.5 or indeed the over 2.5. So once again, I shall come back later on, whether there's a goal or not, and we'll see how far we've got with our drip feeding of back bets into the market. Okay, there's been a goal in the football match. In 34 minutes I've come back to it, and you can see that the lay bets have started to be fed in to reduce the liabilities. So we've got a total of £30 into the market. The liability is down to £5 only, so just one more lay bet to go in to clear the liabilities, leaving us with a free bet on the over 1.5 goals. Sorry, we'll keep on doing that. Okay, back to the strategy, and let's see how many have gone in. So there we have 5 lay bets have gone in. Looks like there's been a couple of suspensions. And there's our liability cleared. So we shouldn't get any more bets going into this market at all. That's us done and dusted. So of course you can either, if you wish, manually green up. I haven't included an automated green up in the strategy. I've preferred to just leave it as a strategy with a free bet. So should another goal come along, that would be us done and dusted. We've got a £9 win. But of course, as I say, you can green up anytime you like. Okay, I'll see what's available next. I'll maybe do another one. Cheers.